Hi everybody, I'm alive still. That's a good way to start the video. Yeah, so I'm gonna be reading another one. It's been a very long time. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a very long time. So we're gonna be reading another one. I just popped one off the shelf. I'm being spontaneous right now. We'll be reading Little Miss Contrary. I know very little about Little Miss Contrary other than I presume she contradicts others or herself, and I know nothing. Um, Welcome back. It's been a while. Glad to have you back here. Anyways, let's just get into it. Little Miss Contrary by Roger Hargreaves. And does this have a year? I'm just curious. I don't know if this is one that was actually written by Roger or if this is one that was written by Adam and then just still under Roger. I don't have confidence in that answer. But, anyways, are you guys ready? Little Miss Contrary always did the opposite of what you would think she would do. For instance, if you asked her to switch on the television, she would switch on the light. For example, if you asked her the time, she would tell you the date. And she always said the opposite of what she really meant. Here we see Little Miss Contrary being sneaky, sly, almost smug, I dare say. So it's unclear at this point, at least, because this is just the first page of exposition, as to whether this is a conscious choice on Little Miss Contrary's part, or this is like pathological and like she cannot control it. My cats are stirring, also being very loud. So yeah, I hopefully we'll get some development on that. Mind you, it wasn't exactly her fault. We're already getting character development. It was probably because she lived in a place called Muddle Land, where everything is so mixed up and muddled, you don't know whether you're coming or going and what? Jocelyn, no, now is not the time. It's so mixed up and muddled, you don't know whether you are coming or going and coming, as they say in Muddle Land. I guess you can do both at the same time if you don't know what you're doing. And here we see a signpost that is not labeled properly in the slightest. Jocelyn, please. I'm reading. Yeah, I know, you're here. Anyways, let's get back to the story. So, that's good to know that it isn't exactly Miss Contrary's fault, it's just that she, is a little confused most of the time and doesn't quite understand I don't know how to live in a world that is messed up. Jocelyn, please stop. It's a very strange place indeed. The worms don't live in holes in Muddle Land. They live in trees, and the birds live in holes. And if you want a loaf of bread, you don't go to the baker's. You go to the butcher's. The baker sells bananas. Why does the baker sell bananas? That's very interesting. Here we see worms in trees. Which, I mean, I think worms are sometimes in trees. Sometimes they're in trees, right? It's not like worms can't be in trees, like, ever. It's an interesting thing. Anyways. One morning, Little Miss Contrary was having breakfast. Roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. I think that's normally dinner food. I don't know, because I'm not British. Or maybe it's lunch? I don't know. Jocelyn, I'm begging. Please calm down. There was a knock at the door. Little Miss Contrary didn't hear it at first, because it was more of a tap than a knock. Tap, tap, tap. But she did hear it eventually, and went to see who it was. Here we see her enjoying her meal. I'm trying to figure out, because it says roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. Are these just bread? Like, this is the roast. I don't know. Glass of milk or water and just opaque water? Unclear. Jocelyn, please. Unclear. Let's find out who's at the door. If I had to bet, it would be Little Miss Tiny, because small knocks. She opened the door. Hello, said a little voice. Little Miss Contrary looked down, and down again, and there stood Mr. Small. He raised his hat. Hello, he said again. It's better than I could have imagined. Mr. Small is making an appearance. I knew this was the right day. This is everything's coming together. Jocelyn, I wish you would calm down. She's refusing to just, like, sit. She wants attention. Which is unfortunate. But anyways. Goodbye, smiled Little Miss Contrary. Mr. Small looked puzzled. As well he might. I wonder if you can help me, he asked. Little Miss Contrary smiled. Of course I can't, she said. She doesn't know what she's doing. Jocelyn, I'm begging. She does not know what she's doing. See how smug she is? Mr. Small, though, I love to see him here. Love to see it. Little Miss Contrary doesn't know what she's doing. Also, that haircut, that hairline, what's happening there? Who let that happen? Anyways. Oh dear, said Mr. Small. You see, I'm lost. Well, she said. Nice to meet you, Mr. Lost. It's funny. Jocelyn, please. She's just, like, rubbing against my keyboard tray and just, like, going to town. Anyways. No, said Mr. Small. I'm trying to find someone called Little Miss Contrary. That's you, laughed Little Miss Contrary. I have a letter for her, said Mr. Small. Oh, bad, she said. I don't get any telephone calls. I think I'll go, said the confused Mr. Small. Goodbye. Mr. Small's very confused. I also don't know why Mr. Small's delivering a letter. That's very interesting. I'm hoping that we uncover the reason why Mr. Small is delivering the letter, because it seems like a very tall task for such a small guy. Not to say that he's limited by his stature, but it definitely seems mayhaps for more of a job of, the postman or the post workers. Because I think they have a postal system in Mr. Land, but I also don't know how the lands connect. Do you want to leave? Oh my goodness. And now she wants to leave. I guarantee you, before the end of this video, we will hear her pawing at the door, or like there will be something to indicate that she wants back in. And she will. I guarantee it. Anyways, and if I don't, I'll eat my sock. Or if it doesn't happen, I'll eat my sock, I should say. However, my word is not legally binding. I can lie to you whenever I would like to. So yeah, it's just very interesting. So I wonder if Mr. Small is having a personal connection in this instance. It's very, very intriguing that Mr. Small is devoted to finding Little Miss Contrary and delivering this letter. So I'm curious if this is something that he personally wanted to do, or if this is something that he has been tasked with by someone else. I yearn to know more. Hello, said Little Miss Contrary, and then she shut the door. Get it? Mr. Small went home, shaking his head. Or I guess more of his, like, entire body, because his head is his body. Their heads are all their bodies. They're like blob people, because their faces are just on their... So if they shake their head, are they just like... Is that what's going on? I'm gonna stop thinking. The letter was from Mr. Happy inviting Little Miss Contrary to his birthday party. Mr. Happy had never met Little Miss Contrary, but he'd heard about her and thought it would be nice to have her at his party. The invitation was for 3 o'clock on Tuesday the 14th of March. She's gonna mess that up. Also, I believe I hear Jocelyn outside the door. I was mistaken. 3 o'clock on a Tuesday? It's a very strange time to have a birthday party, in my opinion. I mean, maybe 3 o'clock on a Tuesday is the best time to have a birthday party, because no one expects it. I don't know. At 2 o'clock on Monday, the 13th of March, Little Miss Contrary knocked on Mr. Happy's door. "Merry Christmas," said Little Miss Contrary, and thrust a package into Mr. Happy's hands. Mr. Happy was puzzled. "Who are you?" he asked. "I'm Little Miss Sunshine," replied Little Miss Contrary. "No, you're not," said Mr. Happy. "I know Little Miss Sunshine, and she's not a bit like you." What's going on with Mr. Happy? He seems a little rude right now. Someone just gave you a gift, and you're being rude? Someone brought you a birthday gift to your birthday party on your birthday, and you're being rude to them? I mean, given it was a day, hour... is it just a day and an hour early? Yeah, just a day and an hour early. But, like, and they are lying about their identity. Well, not, but, like, pathologically. But he seems rather puzzled, and uncharacteristically not the happiest. You know, if there's one thing I've learned from these books, it's that Mr. Happy's not a good guy. And we'll see if this book holds that true. If you would like further reading into Mr. Happy's villain arc, you can go to Mr. Nobody. That one really highlights it. Anyways. Then he stopped and thought. "Oh," he smiled. "I know who you really are. You're Little Miss Contrary, aren't you? I've heard you always say and do the opposite of what you mean." His big dumb grin, I see through it. I see through those eyes. It's kind of like nostrils. Like if you put eyes above it, those could be nostrils. That's kind of funny. Like if I hold on, I'm just gonna see if this'll work. You guys seeing what I'm seeing? You guys seeing the vision? You guys have the vision? There she is! Ah, the woman of the hour. I told you. Anyways, I see through his big dumb grin. And, I see through his lies. "You'd better come in," said Mr. Happy. "No, thank you," smiled Little Miss Contrary. Mr. Happy led her into his living room. "What a horrible room," she said. Mr. Happy grinned. He was beginning to realize that everything he had heard about Little Miss Contrary was true. "Would you like a cup of tea?" he asked. "I can't think of anything I'd like less," said Little Miss Contrary. Mr. Happy grinned again and went to put on the kettle. There they are. Why does he have a picture of a worm framed on his wall? That ain't right. It's not right. I guess Mr. Happy is being a gracious host as of right now, and he's being accommodating, which we appreciate. But, I guess let's see how the rest of this goes. After his tea, Mr. Happy took Little Miss Contrary to meet some of his friends. He had to explain to them all that what she was saying was the exact opposite of what she really meant. "Aren't you thin?" she said to Mr. Greedy. That's rough. You don't have to do him like that. You don't have to do that. And then she's poking him. She's poking his tummy. You're not supposed... You can't just go around poking people's tummies like that. What the heck? What's the big idea? "You have very short arms," she said to Mr. Tickle. He, in fact, does not have short arms, in case it was unclear. He has actually very long, protruding arms. They're actually incredibly long. Yeah. "I like your beard," she said to Mr. Fussy. He, in fact, does not have a beard. He does have, like, a barcode mustache, though, of, like, 4 stray hairs. Anyways. Also, Mr. Fussy's Mr. Happy's friend? That's not something I would have seen coming. Well, she said eventually, thank you for the most perfect afternoon. Now I must go home before it gets light. If she said it was a perfect afternoon, then that's implying that she hated it. Perfect? Asked Mr. Happy. Perfectly dreadful, she agreed, and off she went. Ah, ha, ha, it's a fake-out, bait and switch. I say, chuckled Mr. Greedy to Mr. Happy, you do know some funny people. You can say that again, laughed Mr. Happy. You do know some funny people, said Mr. He said it again. You do know some funny people, said Mr. Greedy. Mr. Happy grinned and went home. Now, this is the point where, like, you say funny people, and then this is the point where, like, Mr. Funny bursts through and is like, wah wah. You know? That's when, maybe it would work better on, like, a sitcom than... What, do you want out again? She doesn't. She's just gonna be on the floor and look at me. I should say be on the floor, not pee. She's not peeing on the floor. I could have chosen my words a bit better. Anyways. At home, Mr. Happy remembered the package that little Miss Contrary had given him. It must be a birthday present, he said, and he hurried to where he had left the package and unwrapped it. Inside was indeed a present, and a card. He opened the birthday card first, as any gentleman would. Inside it said, "Many miserable returns of the day." What? Many miserable returns of the day. Oh, and now you're clawing the carpet? It's a good thing I'm sitting, because I can't stand her. Anyways, many miserable returns of the day. And would you like to know what the present was? A pair of socks. Here's Mr. Happy reaching for the present. I don't get it. Well, not quite a pair of socks. One sock was white, and the other sock was black. And as little Miss Contrary would say, that is the beginning of the story. Because it's ending. Because the story's over and there's no more picture. Okay. That's cool, I guess. There was no, like, character development on anybody's part, or, like, no morals or lessons learned. It's just a little story, which, I mean, like, that's better. There's roughly 3 categories of these. Yes, please come in. Anyways, there's roughly 3 categories, I would say. There's ones with, like, good morals that are really cute, really sweet. There's ones that are just kind of, like, not pointless stories, but, like, just stories that are just kind of fun. A little bit. This falls into that category. And then there's ones that are like, this is actively not good or negative. And then it's obviously a spectrum in between those of, like, those 3 points. There's, like, middle grounds. And I would say this falls in, like, the just a harmless story one. Mr. Small is the peak of everything, and the fact that he made an appearance in this does bump it up a lot. Yeah, what are your opinions, Jocelyn? Yeah, she doesn't have opinions. She does not have opinions. Well, that's it. I don't have anything to say about Little Miss Contrary other than that was, haha, she says the opposite of things. Jocelyn, stop biting me. She's like, she keeps like, like, whenever I move my hand. Now you're pawing at it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed going on this journey with me, even if it was not a very. It was just a fun little story. But sometimes those are nice. Jocelyn, stop it! What the heck? You actually kind of bit me that time. Anyways, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Jocelyn. Wave goodbye, Jocelyn. Bye. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining me. See you around, folks.